radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? Today's Thursday, December 6th, 2018. 340 days into the new year. Just 25 days left, people. Wow. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Thursday night. It is FADERNIGHT. Open lines all night long. Bottom of the hour, Teresa Tanaros is here with Divine Frequencey on the Airwaves, followed by open lines all night long. That's right. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. There you go. You know what to do on Stellar.com. Send me a friend request over there on Stellar.com. Go and get registered. Come and hang out with all of us. I tried to get through all those friend requests today. I did a good chunk of them. So if you were one of the lucky ones, welcome on Stellar.com. Twitter, you can do that. That is at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Okay. All right. Hello to everybody out there on the Bunker Cam. What is cracking? It is Thursday night, still rainy here in Burbank. And earlier today, Southwest Airlines jet, I think there's like 112, 116 people on board, slid off the runway right here in town, right down the street. Crazy. It's that when it rains, first off, it's been raining for about a week, and which we don't get. We don't. People talk about it all the time, but it's really true. It doesn't rain in Southern California. It just doesn't rain here. And when we get a week of it and how much has come down, in the last day, we got a year's worth of rain in a day, and it's been raining all week. Everybody knows we need it with all of the fires and everything else. So there you go. Okay, so it's cold, it's damp, it's rainy. This is our holiday season here in Southern California. And with that, where am I? Oh, at J Church Radio. And the reason why I brought that up, okay, a couple of things are going on. So you do want to head over to Twitter, follow us there at J Church Radio, and use hashtag F2B. Lots of stuff was posted today. I will get to all of that, but you can go and check it out over in Twitter. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. Any questions or comments during the show tonight, just post it right there, hashtag F2BQ. You can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Now, I just spoke about what's going on Twitter, and a little bit over on Facebook, a little bit over on Stellar, too, as well. We made the announcement today it is on Wednesday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. Fade to Black is having our holiday party at the world-famous, wait for it, Rainbow Bar and Grill on the Sunset Strip right here in Hollywood, California. That's right. Start making your plans right now. Come and celebrate with us. Have dinner and party all night long as we take over the Rainbow. We take over Hollywood. And we'll have all of the information up over the next few days. But certainly put a circle around December 26th on the calendar. It's Fade to Black in Hollywood. And we'll get all the details posted up. Now, this is the deal. We booked the Rainbow, okay? The entire Rainbow. Oh, man. That's right. So, yes, lots of amazing personalities are going to be there. I've gone down, my musicians list and my friends list, and I've put out the invites. And so it's going to be fun. We just want everybody to have a good time and hang out. Okay, it's Hollywood. It's the Rainbow. We've got it set up like this. It's very simple, and the details are there. And if you go over to Facebook directions and everything, and the details, we've got it worked out. We just don't have everything implemented yet. But I'll just, you know what? I don't care. I'll just make the announcements now. We're probably going to have a little downloadable invite that you can present at the door. Okay? There's no cover charge. It's a party. We've got that covered. So there you go, right? And if you mention my name or Fade to Black at the door, we'll probably have a guest list. And why I'm saying probably because we're incorporating everything together. So, but that's how it's going to be handled. And that's it. So come on in and dinner, drinks, all of that, that's on you. We're going to provide the people. We're going to provide the club. And there you go. And it's going to be a night of celebration. Okay? So there you go. Fade to Black invades Hollywood. Sunset Strip, the Rainbow Bar and Grill. That is December 26th. Coming up in 20 days. The day after Christmas, too, as well. All right, so we'll see everybody there. It's going to be great. We have room for about... probably a couple hundred, 200, 250. Then we have the outside bar too as well, and then the overflow can go upstairs, which there's another bar and a dance floor. So there you go. Fade to Black takes over the Rainbow, December 26th. All right, now, excuse me, I didn't hit my cough button. I did not hit my cough button. How rude. That was rude. When it happens, it happens. You can't control it. Sometimes you're quick enough. Sometimes you're not. I missed it. Okay, breaking news. Check this out. All right? Yeah, we're going to live stream Mark, who's over in Australia. Yes. We're going to live stream. We'll Facebook Live. We'll Periscope. We're going to do all of that. We'll have a few things running at the same time. And so, yes, don't despair if you're out of state or out of country. We'll be broadcasting everything live. Okay? All right. You remember the announcement that came up about the ion drives, right? Well, they're in use right now. Inert xenon gas right now is propelling the electric blue with its ion thrusters. And it's called the Bepi Colombo to Mercury. That's right. Electric blue ion thrusters right now. Inert xenon gas is fed into the thrusters where electrons are first stripped off of the xenon atoms. The resulting electricity-charged atoms, referred to as ions, are then focused and ejected out of the thrusters using a high-voltage grid system at a velocity of 50,000 meters per second. This exhaust velocity is 15 times greater than conventional chemical rocket thrusters, allowing a dramatic reduction in the amount of propellant required to achieve the mission. Now, I've got to tell you, when you look at what these engines look like and how they're designed, it's the exact opposite of everything that we are used to. and you need to check it out. This week sees the in-flight commissioning and test firing of the 4 thrusters, with 1 or 2 of them firing at a time, of the solar electric propulsion system that Bepi Colombo relies on, that it's going to rely on to reach Mercury. This marks the first in-flight operation of the most powerful and highest performance electric propulsion system flown on any space mission to date. Now, when you look at, okay, all right, before I get on to my next breaking news story, we're used to the cones, right, and burning and the flames and the shape of the cone and the fuel that comes in and it's burned and it's compressed, and it goes through a nozzle and it sprays out the back and it burns, and that's what we're used to. Go and look at these engines. They don't have that. They're just cylinders that are flat at the end. They're solid. There's no fuel coming. It's crazy. It's crazy. You need to understand what I'm talking about here. Go and check it out. The Bepi Colombo, the ion engines. They're absolutely incredible. Okay. Dark matter. Dark energy. 2 different things, right? That comprise as much as 95% of our universe, but remain invisible, may actually be a single phenomenon. And this is according to a group of scientists at Oxford University. Now, check this out. The new research, which was published yesterday on December 5th in the journal Astronomy and Astrophysics, says that dark matter and dark energy may actually be a single phenomenon, giving us the perfectly harmonious movement of galaxies in the universe. And instead of separate forces pulling and pushing, that there is actually a single fluid that uses negative mass to hold the universe in place. I've been talking about dark matter and dark energy. I'm going to get more into this in just a second for a long time, and I want everybody to understand the significance of what is going on here. It's an amazing, amazing report that was just released, and you can go and check it out yourself. Journal, Astronomy, and Astrophysics. And don't forget, come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo right here in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton at the end of February. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I'm going to be hosting the panel with Eric and Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, David Wilcock. Great celebration going on that night. That's on Friday evening. You're not going to want to miss that. Also speaking this year, we've got George Norrie, Nassim Haramein, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, our very own Teresa Yannaris, and another 50 speakers are going to be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. To get your tickets and a full conference schedule, just click on the CLE banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. All right. Now, Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues its 2018 crash and burn. It plummeted again today, and right now before the show, it's floating around 3,300 quacking ducks. It hasn't been this low since July of 2017. Remember last week when I asked the Ouija board, right, or spirit guides, if Bitcoin would stay above $1,000 in 2018? Well, I was kind of joking. I just wanted to get Ouija's response out of that. But at this point, right, we've got 3 weeks left. It might continue this plummet. It's absolutely unbelievable. Okay, John just posted Hoffman's Optics. I was going to get to that, but I'll do it now. Hoffman's Optics are the makers of my night vision goggles, the Jimmy Church model, the deep blue. And you can go and get your very own night vision goggles. You need them. You know you want them. Go and get yours right now from hoffmansoptics.com. And the links are at jimmychurchradio.com. Just click on the banner, go and contact Alec Hoffman. He's a FADERNIGHT. He'll answer all of your questions. You can look at the complete lineup over there at Hoffman's Optics. They've got some great stuff. You need your headgear, right? You need all of that stuff. Headgear is a necessity. When you're doing night vision, night watch, and you're out there, you can either hold, do this, or do this and get your headgear and just, right? Yeah, it's really cool. Hoffman'sOptics.com. Beppe Colombo, there it is. Is that incredible? Electric. See, the thing is, see the solar panels, and thank you. Who posted this? This is from Kevin Korber. Thank you for that, Kevin. Very, very cool. And so there it is. Electronic engines, man. Right there. Powered by those solar panels. That's nuts. Absolutely incredible. All right, there you go. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 per month. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Click on that podcast banner. We have over 950 archive shows right there just for you. You can also become a Fadernaut in our membership section of the site. Gets hats, T-shirts, downloadable commercial-free archives that you can play anywhere. Private email to me. Get the bunker camp. Get all that stuff. All right. Go and become an official Fadernaut today. And don't forget all of our sponsors here at jimmychurchradio.com. River Moon Coffee. We've got some new River Moon products coming out, Fade to Black blends, right after the first of the year. We're getting ready to make those announcements, and it's everything that we have been talking about, and we're going to do all of that after the first of the year. And there you go. All right, and of course, Life Change Tea, Ancient Life Oil, Numana Food Storage, Fast Start Diet. Oh, so tonight I'm giving away, I almost forgot. I was going to do it at the bottom of the hour. I'm giving away three Fast Start Diet boxes tonight for you. All right, so we're going to do that when we start taking phone calls, and I'll give you the rules. But I'm giving away 3 tonight, all right? You want to lose some weight like I did? Look, I did it. I did it in just a week, and I've held it off. I don't know how. But I feel great. I look great. Fast Start Diet. Okay, 3 of you for the holiday season tonight are going to get your Fast Start Diet. You're going to feel great. And think about Fast Start Diet. 3 of you are going to get the full treatment. That's great. But think about the way you're going to eat over the next month. Don't you want to just curb some of that, right? And fight that? Do that with Fast Start Diet. All right? Okay. All right. Sterling Bennett says, I'm not promising that I'll be good. That's funny, Sterling. That's funny. All right. Where am I at? Oh, here we go. Our dead guy's birthday today. Randy Rhodes. 1956 to 1982. Died at the age of 25. A plane crash in Florida. Whew. Yeah, Randy managed to change the world. Change the world of guitar. Every guitar player on this planet wanted to be Randy Rhodes. Still does. But he did it all by the age of 25. Absolutely incredible. He would have been 62 today. Unbelievable. Randy Rhodes. And I might have a phone call or two coming in tonight, too, as well. And I'll do that when it happens. On this day in history, OTD 1998. On December 6th, the crew of the space shuttle STS-88 began construction of the International Space Station, attaching the U.S.-built Unity node and the Russian-built Zarya module together in orbit on this day in 1988. Fader fact is for Randy Rhodes. Fader fact, banging your head to heavy metal music burns 150 calories per hour. That's right. It's vetted. Tonight is another Fader Night with Teresa Tanaros and Divine Frequency on the Airwaves, followed by open lines all night long. And the call-in numbers, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. Now, let me hit this coffee. Let me do this real quick. I need it. Why? I just mentioned in the breaking news about the recent theory about dark matter and dark energy, and that they may not be one, not two, right? Think about this. That they may be one. This is one of the craziest things to break. And although I seem to be talking about this a lot lately, you have to understand its importance. And it's not only as science, but how much we don't know or understand. And the very principles that we all thought were so solid, well, are not so solid after all. In fact, this is the deal. If we start to pull things apart at this pace, how we are doing it now, virtually everything that we have accepted up to, well, just a few years ago, it's out the window. There are three basic questions. How did we get here? Why are we here? And where are we going? And they're still not answered. As far as us and our solar system, the basic accepted idea is that around 4.6 billion years ago, our solar system was a swirl of gas and dust surrounding our sun. And as the dust and gas picked up new material, along their trips around the sun, they grew into clumps. And over time, we got what we have today, right? Planets, moons, asteroids, the occasional comet, whatever. And it makes sense. But nobody knows for sure. Nobody. But it's as solid as any other theory. And if you pick another theory, we could probably run with that one too. Right? Nobody knows. Nobody was around. Today, over at phys.org, a new article was posted about observations of protoplanetary disks around other stars that are young enough to currently be in the process of birthing planets. Yeah. Now think about this for a second. Using the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, or the ALMA, comprising 45 radio antennas in Chile's Atacama Desert, the team performed a survey of young stars in the Taurus star-forming region, which is a vast cloud of gas and dust located. It's only 450 light years away. It's like right next door from Earth, right? When the researchers imaged 32 stars surrounded by protoplanetary disk, they found that 12 of them, 40%, have rings and gaps. That's right. Structures that, according to the team's measurements and calculations, can be best explained by the presence of fresh, young baby planets. So I want you to imagine what I'm talking about here for a second, okay? Just stay with me. I want you to imagine a star that has a giant flat disk around it that is just dust and gas. And as these dust turns into clumps and it's moving around, the gaps in the disk are formed, right? Slices. Kind of like looking like the rings of Saturn, but on a scale of our solar system. Get it? All right? Little sun, big disk of dust, these clumps and these, right? And that's what they are seeing now. Since detecting the individual planets directly is nearly impossible because of the overwhelming brightness of the host star, the team performed calculations to get an idea of the kinds of planets that might be forming in the Taurus star-forming region. And according to the findings, Neptune-sized gas planets, or so-called super-Earths, terrestrial planets of up to 20 Earth masses, should be the most common. Only 2 of the observed disks could potentially harbor behemoths like Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. Now, since most of the current exoplanet surveys can't penetrate the thick dust of the protoplanetary disk, all exoplanets, with one exception, have been detected in more evolved systems where a disk is no longer present. Now, what do you have to do to find your very own exoplanet? Well, pretty much all that's involved is you go and hang out for a night at an observatory. That's all you got to do. That's it. It's that easy. Finding new exoplanets has totally revolutionized astronomy. It's really a sport now. It's the fun, new, fresh thing to do. Seriously, if you're an astronomer, that's what you're doing. Listen to me. On the 9th of January, 1992, radio astronomers announced the discovery of two planets orbiting the pulsar PSR 1257 plus 12. This discovery was confirmed and is the first definitive detection of exoplanets. Followed up observations solidified these results, and the confirmation of a third planet followed in 1994. It's only 2018. 1994, we had three. As of December 1st, 2018, last week, less than 25 years after the first discovery of an exoplanet, there are now a total of 3,903 confirmed and listed exoplanets in the Extrasolar Planets Encyclopedia. NASA's Kepler mission has identified an additional 5,000 planetary candidates, with a chunk of them being Earth-sized and located in the habitable zone around sun-like stars. Now listen to me for a second. That is one exoplanet discovered per day for 25 straight years. Chew on that. So, not only are we discovering in Taurus, we are watching planets being born. Maybe soon we'll have the answer to that very first question of the three. Where do we come from? And it's very, very cool. We're making these discoveries every single day. Dark matter, dark energy, exoplanets, Earth-like planets, by the billions. It's absolutely nuts, and it's a great time to be alive. But, and I'm telling you, just in the last 3 years, the discoveries that we have made are rewriting everything that was established. Firm ground, where physicists would go out and talk like it was fact. And today, those same physicists are out lecturing and presenting and speaking and teaching at schools. And it's the opposite of what they were talking about just a few short years ago. It's absolutely amazing. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. It is Thursday. It is FADERNIGHT. Open lines all night long. Coming up right after this short break, Teresa Tanaros and Divine Frequencey on the airwaves. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. At JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's a holiday season with hope in the air. Things to look forward to and no time for despair. Health can be a challenge, and so can the mail. So Get the Tea wants to help you by giving you a sale. Buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month for free. No limit. That's buy 2 months of Super Tea and get 1 month free. That's a savings of $35. Where? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Scroll down on the front page and find the buy 2, get 1 free ad. Click it and save. Orders over $100 get free shipping. Send the gift of life. Change tea at GetTheTea.com. We have many non-GMO organic supplements just waiting for you. This holiday season, enjoy health and Thanksgiving with GetTheTea.com. Want to call us? 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. GetTheTea.com is a proud sponsor of doing what's right. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and now it's time for author, teacher, and host Teresa Yanaris and Divine Frequency on the Airwaves. Take it away, Teresa. Welcome.
Hi, this is Teresa Yanaris at Divine Frequency. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Shout out to Rita. Shout out to my FADERNIGHts. What is up, you guys? How's it going tonight? You are tuning in to On the Airwaves Radio. The times have changed and the tides have shifted, my friends. Let's ride the airwaves. This show is packed with high energy mediatainment live. And for those of you who know me, I've got a lot of energy. And no, that is not the coffee, my friends. That's just me all the time. So sorry to burst anyone's bubble there. We are diving deep into the realms of the world. We are exploring the farthest reaches of the unknown. We are leaving no ocean unexplored. As you guys know, you can join me on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for deeper perspectives on a vast array of news media topics from current events to popular culture. If you want to join the conversation tonight as we are flowing in the ether, go to Twitter and live tweet with Divine Frequency using the hashtag DF Airwaves. My superstar associate Sterling Nicole Bennett will be the ringleader of our live tweeting experience this evening. Shout out to Sterling. You can follow her at Stario Crossing and me at Divine Frequency on Twitter. Please go on over, hang out, feel free to tweet to the hashtag DF Airwaves as we go. Today is Thursday, December 6th, 2018. All right, let's dive right in. Hashtag Mermaid Life. First, I just have to make a note about what we have going on over here on the tweet deck on Twitter. My friend Murph, hashtag F2B, threw a picture up here of Jimmy and I in space with spaceships and what looks to be blue laser beams coming out of them. Shout out to you, Murph. Very excellent graphic design work over there, buddy. That's excellent. I had to retweet that one. So I wanted to tell you guys about a dream that I had last night because, as we know in Divine Frequency, we like to talk about dreams. We do a lot of dream analysis. We talk about it. So I'm going to tell you guys a dream that I had last night. So there was a group of us that escaped from the surface of the earth to an underground cave. And the reason why we did this was because there were surface level earth changes that made it inhabitable. We couldn't live on the planet, on the surface level of the planet. So we went into this underground cave and we were setting up camp inside of this cavern, and it was getting dark. And I turned and I looked into the far recesses of the cavern, and I noticed that these dark fingers of this sinister blackness was creeping over the stones, and it was coming towards our group. And at that point in my dream, I went completely lucid, which means I knew I was dreaming. And I realized that I had a superpower. How many of you have had a superpower in a dream? Those are the best. So I realized that I could actually banish this sinister darkness with my hands, with my voice. And I said with my voice, I called out into the darkness and I said, with my light, I cast out the darkness. And with a sweeping wave of my hand, the darkness was turned to light. It was epic. So I had this dream, and this morning I woke up and I posted this dream to social media. So I wanted to tell you guys about a really cool conversation that I had on social media today about this dream, because I think it's really, really important to talk about. So I received a comment back that said, it's this perspective that's holding back humanity's evolution and possible ascension. The program of rebuking the darkness is what prevents our unification, along with every other program that is meant to keep us in fragmentation and in separation. No more segregation of who we are. Embracing our darkness allows us to embrace an aspect of our truth. We're both the dark and the light. All is God. And I loved this response. So I wrote back and I said, thank you for your response. First of all, I actually agree that the darkness and light, they're both natural parts of this experience. Because as you guys know, if you follow Divine Frequency, we talk a lot about polarity, and we talk about how polarity is inherent in this experience. So we must experience the light and the darkness because we can't know one without the other. So I had a couple of statements to make, and I made sure to express that I think that a subconscious idea playing itself out in a dream state, I don't think that holds back humanity's evolution. So I said that I believe that all experience should be contextualized in order to provide meaning. So through our exploration of this experience, we have the opportunity to add data into the collective, therefore expanding the field through which we are all connected. So I believe that we're having an individuated experience of the collective. Each of us is separate, but we are connected to that oneness. Absolutely. So then I wanted to talk a little bit deeper here because it goes a little bit deeper. So the concept of casting out the darkness and the way I am using it in my dream was a little bit different than this concept of the light versus the dark and the polarity there. So in the dream, this archetype of darkness seemed to represent evil. Darkness and evil are two different things entirely. So, and this is my perspective, throwing it out there, darkness, the way I would describe it, darkness is the abyss. It's the womb. It's the divine feminine. It's the anthropomorphic state through which the birthing process occurs. This darkness is the opposite and binding force to light. And in my opinion, through the darkness, the light is created and then birthed. So you have the divine masculine, that which is birthed out of the mother, right? So the darkness rebuked in the dream was not the birthing force. It was the destructive, violating force. That was my opinion. What are y'all's thoughts? And so I parroted this question back to the person I was talking with on social media. I said, what are your thoughts? And the person responded back and said, yeah, that makes perfect sense. We were in agreement. And it was a really cool conversation. I love getting a chance to communicate with you guys on social media and get to have these deep philosophical conversations where at first it can kind of seem like we're having a different conversation, but then we realize that we're actually agreeing. Sometimes you can misunderstand what someone's saying, and then you can, what you call, straw man them or respond to something that they're not actually saying. And then whenever you have that moment where you can sit down and talk, shift. Now we're going to talk about, what do we want to talk about now? I think we want to talk a little bit more about this concept of evil. I think that that's something really important to bring up right now. So we talked a little bit about light versus dark, and I want to talk about good versus evil for a second. So what is good? I would say that good is using your free will to not infringe upon other people's free will. And evil is very much so inflicting pain against others and infringing upon their free will. So it's stepping across boundaries. So when we're here talking about this concept of light versus dark, where you have the womb state and then what comes out of that, which is the light, then you have this other concept of good versus evil. Good being using free will to not infringe upon other people's free will. And then evil, wanting to use people and inflict pain and cross boundaries. So we're going to talk a little bit about boundaries today because I have a couple of news stories that we're going to go over related to boundaries. And this is all about protecting our personal sovereignty, guys. Boundaries protect us from people who might want to hurt us. And with healthy boundaries, you're using your free will to choose the relationships that you want to engage in and the capacity of those relationships. So evil's one thing, but cycles of growth and change, this is talking about that light versus dark, right? That's paramount to our soul growth. So from the darkness comes the birth of light, and from the light, we descend into darkness. There's a cyclical nature to growth because you can't constantly be in the light. You must also be in the darkness, that womb state, right? So speaking of which, the new moon is tomorrow, December 7th. And wanted to talk a little bit about new cycles. So we've got new moon cycles every month. We've also got new seasons. And I happen to love the changing of seasons. I was raised in Virginia for a time, and I loved the fact that Virginia had perfectly equidistant seasons. I don't know where y'all are from, but I'm currently in Texas, where we basically have two seasons, hot and cold. And in Virginia, it was really fun because all the seasons were the same length. And my mom had these plates that she put on the wall, 4 plates, and they were all the same picture, but different seasons. And on the first day of the season, she would shift the plates. And so we got to celebrate and experience the changing of seasons, which was one of my favorite parts of my childhood. And when I think about the moon cycles, this demonstrates another type of shift that we get to go through monthly. And I feel like it demonstrates on the outside when we see the seasons shift and we see the moon cycles, this is a macrocosmic level of change that shows us change. And then we can look within to see the inherent shifts that are demonstrated inside of us, in our inner shifts that occur in cycles on the microcosm. So when it's the new moon, I like to ask myself, I take these moments to ask myself, how do I make myself new, right? For me, I tend to clean at the new moon. I clean my physical space because clearing your physical space opens up your mental space. Also, it's an excuse to not have to clean for an entire month. Just kidding. Not really. Or am I? So I also wanted to tie this all in with the last 2 sessions that we had on Fade to Black on the Airwaves radio, because we were talking about discernment. We were talking about cycles of growth and change. And I thought this would be a beautiful bow to tie because we're in the new moon. And we were just talking about the focus method, which was a method for discernment cycles of growth and change and gaining wisdom. And if you guys remember from the last 2 weeks, we talked about the focus method, which was find, organize, create, understand, synthesize. So I thought it would be really cool for a second to break this into the moon cycle because it fits. You have the waxing moon. This is the growing moon. It's increasing in size. And in that cycle that we talked about, that would be find and organize. So when you're finding, you're choosing a goal and you're organizing yourself. You're bringing something toward fruition. You're actively growing and increasing the energy that you're putting into some kind of goal in your life. And so that is synonymous with the waxing moon. Then the full moon would be the create step on the cycle. So this is actually where you're literally culminating something. You're bringing it to fruition. It's been brought to fruition. It's the maximum power and strength. This is the manifestation point. Then you have the next part of the cycle, or the down part of the cycle, where you have understand and synthesize. And this would be the waning moon. So you're banishing, you're decreasing, you're integrating, you're learning from what you have created. So I think it's really interesting to take the concepts of cycles and then reflect that into your life in multiple different ways. It helps you integrate the information on an even deeper level. So as we know, we're beings that are going through constant shifts, constant changes. We're supposed to be growing and we're supposed to be changing. And like one example I can give you guys, because you guys know I'm a YouTuber, I'm constantly changing as a person on YouTube, right? The content shifts. I'm not doing the same things over and over again. I might be talking about some of the same topics, but as a YouTuber, we're dynamic people. And so it's so important to be able to look at and not just a YouTube channel, this is just one example, but look at content as it expands, as the person expands. It's really fun to be able to access this kind of stuff on social media where it's cataloged. You can go back in a blog and you can see how people have changed, they've progressed, and they've grown. So I want to ask you, what growth have you experienced in your life, and how do you share that growth with other people? So you got to let go. You got to let go in order to open up your space for something new. This is something that I think is really important about the new moon, is that letting go lets that space open up so the universe can put something in it. If your space is cluttered, if your physical space, your mental space is cluttered, the universe can't put anything into a space that doesn't exist. So you got to let things go. So we're going to go ahead and leave it with that, because I actually want to bring Jimmy on and ask him about the Bob Lazar film. I'm dying to know about the premiere, Jimmy. Are you there?
I'm here. You're dying to know. It was great. Yeah. We had a great dinner beforehand. It was fun.
You had a dinner? What'd you eat? Steak.
I had actually, you know what I had? I know we want to talk about.
Don't tell me a salad.
No, I had pulled. This was Italian food. Pulled pork pasta in marinara sauce. It was insane. And then, but I warmed up with crab cakes.
That's my kind of Italian food right there.
A couple shots of vodka and some espresso, and headed off to the premiere. So there you go.
Do you drink vodka in your espresso or one after the other?
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, that would actually that should be bottled. Espresso flavored vodka. I think
I could do it.
Yeah,
I could totally swing with that.
I could do that. So, have you seen the movie yet?
I haven't. I can't. I'm going to watch it this weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm just going to throw it back at you. Then you ask me the questions.
Okay, so tell me about the venue.
The venue was incredible. The Ace Hotel downtown, huge, old. Lots of history. Movie premieres have been done there with Hollywood for probably 60, 70 years. A very dramatic building with crazy architecture, very Gothic, very beautiful, very nice, big. 1,600 seats, so you can imagine how big of a theater it is, multi-leveled. There you go. So that part of it was great. My overall opinion of it is that, and I posted a review, but it's not a documentary. Okay. It depends on what your definition is, right? But if you're thinking documentary, which means documents, that's what documentary means, right? If you're thinking documentary that we've all seen thousands of them in our lifetimes and stuff, it's not that. Okay? It's not. It's a tribute to Bob Lazar. And there's a big difference. And so, as a tribute, pretty solid. If you are a Bob Lazar fan and you've been waiting for something like this to come along with new footage of Bob and him around the house and hanging out with his wife and what he does at work and his opinions today and fresh, video of Bob, you get all of that. So, and it's great. It's a tribute. And so there you have it. Is there any groundbreaking, evidence or anything like that? No, there's not.
Gotcha. That's what I was going to ask about. So you would say it's not really much for people that have been following the story for a really long time that are looking for something like groundbreaking and new, but more so for people that have been following the story, or maybe they haven't, but they want to have additional content to add into that data.
Sort of. I would actually back off on that and say this. If you were waiting for Jeremy and Bob to present a huge volume of stuff, vindicating and proving, Bob's case, then no, this is not that. It's not. If that's what you were waiting for. But if you are interested in history and you've been following the Bob Lazar case, and it's great to see Bob again after all of these years. It's cool. It's really cool. It's well shot. I had technical issues with the audio and Mickey Rourke and the narration, but I'm not the only one. Everybody said the same thing, and I'm sure that Jeremy or anybody else that was involved in the production of the film, they're going to go, well, yeah, Mickey was mumbling, but we left him in. Nobody's going to tell Mickey Rourke that he was cut from the film. So that's, so you're going to leave Mickey in. And I'm not deaf, and, everybody heard the same thing that I heard. It's not some negative criticism about the film. It's just a technical comment about the film. The music was a little bit out of place at times, but none of it takes away from the content of the film or the intention of the film. The intention is to be a tribute to Bob.
Very cool.
And that's it. So I gave it a rating. I gave it a B as a tribute. It's passable. It's cool. I recommend the film. I think everybody should go and check it out. As a documentary, I gave it a C- because it's not a documentary. It's a tribute. It's a lot of eye candy. It's really well shot. Corbell has a keen eye for artistic integrity, and he can shoot. He's got a way. I don't know how he pulls it off, but he's got a really cool way of because he's a hipster. So he's got that hipster way of making things look. I could have the same video camera and go out and shoot the same thing that he's shooting, and my stuff would look like crap.
Well, what would your documentary be if you made a documentary?
Well, of Bob Lazar? Well,
no, I mean in general. If you were to make it, what would you make a documentary about, Jimmy Church?
If I was going to make a documentary, I have no idea. I have been so interested in the last 15 years about our universe. That I think I would go there. I'm not a physicist, but I could bring physicists
You're
in.
not?
Yeah, I could bring physicists in to make me look like a physicist.
There you go.
That's how you do it. But I would do, I would probably follow along those lines because the thing that I think is most astounding right now today is that when we just look at math, numbers. You start at the number 1 and start counting. If we just deal with the math in our galaxy, in our Milky Way, we probably have 100 billion planets. Right? Think about that. 100 billion planets. We're not alone.
So what's the name of your documentary then? We're not alone.
I don't know. You know, and it's I think I would do that. I think I would. What would you
Very
make?
cool.
What would you make a documentary on?
Mermaids, easy.
You would do mermaids
or glitter.
Okay, take a picture of your feet and post it.
Done.
We'll see.
I don't have feet.
Yeah, see, you've got what mermaids? What do they have on their feet?
They don't have feet.
Is it fins?
Yeah, fins.
Fins is the correct term for that, right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay.
You're practically an expert now.
No, I'm being serious.
I am too.
Okay, all right. So it's fins. Mermaids have fins. They don't have feet.
That's right.
Teresa, thank you so much. And what are you going to be covering next week?
Probably news. I'm thinking I'm going to do some news. Probably cover some entertainment as well.
Okay,
so,
entertainment and news next week. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Teresa.
Thank you, Jimmy. Have a good night.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
Teresa Yannaris, Divine Frequency on the airwaves. All right. It's Thursday night. It is Fader night. I'm going to get out of here. When I come back after this short break, we're opening up the phone lines. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. It's Fade to Black. It's Fader night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Let's do this, man.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I'll be hosting the panel with Eric, Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and David Wilcock. Join George Norrie, Nassim Haramain, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, Teresa Yannaris, and another 50 speakers who will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Just go to ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and a full conference schedule, or click on the CLE banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, it is Fader night. Let's do this. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. All right, set the tone. Now, don't forget, I just posted up in Twitter the Hollywood. Yeah, well, that's word. That's that works too. Our Hollywood Holiday Bash is at the Rainbow Bar and Grill on Sunset Boulevard. It is taking place on the evening of December 26th, which is obviously the day after Christmas, on Wednesday, and it falls right between Christmas and New Year's Eve. Right, so we get to do both. We can do a little bit post-Christmas. We got a little pre-New Year's, and so it's a holiday thing. All right, now, I just posted up on Twitter the event for it, which is scheduled over on Facebook. So if you could, just help us get a gauge here. If you are going to attend, head over to Facebook and just let us know, and you can post right there. And there you go, okay? It's going to be great. I cannot wait. It is in 20 days, and we're going to be hanging out with all of you. Yeah, we're going to Periscope, and we'll do a Facebook Live thing and maybe YouTube Live. And we'll do that on a few different spots all night long. But we're going to be doing it with you. And you never know who's going to be there, right? Okay? I've already got some pretty cool confirmations. And I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to say anything. It's not about that. It's about you guys. But I will make sure that when you walk in, you're going to go, wow, welcome to Hollywood. This is cool. I'll make sure. All right. All the selfies you can handle with that. Let's go to the phones. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. And let's go over here. Area code 425. You're up first on Thursday night, Fader night. Who's calling?
Oh, Jimmy.
Hey, Inquire. What's up?
Oh, man. Let's start the night out with some metal.
Yeah, I saw your post today, so let's do it.
All right. So first question I got for you.
Well, first off, you got to say happy birthday to somebody.
Crap.
Randy Rhodes. It's Randy Rhodes' birthday today. It's Randy Rhodes' birthday. Yeah.
Happy birthday, bro.
Okay. All right. So first up, what you got?
Okay. So you saw those 10 albums I put up that were released this year. What am I missing that I need to check out?
Well, okay, first off, in your post, and one stood out for me, and then I had to go back and check, and which was Astro Creep 2000 Live, Rob Zombie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I saw that there, but in your post, did it say coming out in 2019 or released in 2018?
So all of those were released in 2018.
Okay, so I read your post wrong. See, and I thought this was stuff to look forward to in 2019. I did not know that Rob Zombie released that, or I would have been rocking to Astro Creep 2000 Live. I went to, and it was, if I told you about the evening that I had from start to finish, right? But I saw Rob Zombie, Astro Creep 2000 Live at the Universal Amphitheater here in Burbank. And he brought out all the giant robots on stage. And it was one of the most surreal, and also in the background on these big screens, because at that time, House of a Thousand Corpses wasn't released yet, and it was rated X. Do you remember that, when they went through all of that controversy? Yep. Okay, so he comes out on stage, Rob comes out and says, I'm trying to get this film released, and there was everybody wanted to see it. We were like, rated X, how crazy is it, right? He goes, so they won't let me release it yet until I get it edited down to an R rating. But tonight, during this concert, House of a Thousand Corpses is playing in the background. So on these two ginormous screens on both sides of the stage are all the crazy scenes from House of a Thousand Corpses. On stage are these giant robots that are coming out on stage that were scary as crap, and the mood, it was one of the great concerts I have ever seen. It was tremendous. And I was a guest of the band. So I got to, after show, after party, backstage, hanging out with everybody was really cool. A friend of mine, Sid Riggs, played drums in the opening band. So I got to hang out with Sid, and it was just a crazy night. It was awesome meeting Rob, and that was a moment. So when you mentioned that album today, I thought, wow, that's going to come out in 2019. I can't wait for it. But it's already out.
Oh, man, you missed it. It happened.
Who's on the album? Who's on it?
Well, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Who's on it?
It's his current lineup. So it's not the White Zombie lineup. It's his current lineup of like Piggy D, John 5, Gingerfish, and him.
Oh, so John 5's
I believe
on
that's
this.
the case.
Okay.
Yeah. It's his current lineup because he did It was, I think he did a couple festivals where he played that album in its entirety with them. And, oh, man, it's killer, especially like Blood, Milk, and Sky.
Right.
That song is like a psychedelic journey of metal.
Yeah, Blood, Milk, and Sky is really good. Of course, More Human Than Human is still, I think that's one of the great rock and roll songs. You know, that might be in my top 10 all-time list. That might actually squeeze its way in there. It's a pretty amazing, very strong song. But what about, is Electric Head on it?
Yeah, the whole album.
Oh, man.
So I think on that album, is that Electric Head and Electric Head Part 2? Are those on the same album?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, those are on it.
Man, that's such a great record, man. That's such a great record. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the cover right here. Somebody just sent it to me. There's John 5. Who's on drums?
It should be Gingerfish.
Oh, it's Gingerfish. Okay.
I believe.
Okay. His original drummer was a really good friend of mine. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That album, see, this is the thing. This is what makes that album so special. Back then, sampling was there. And we're going back to when he actually recorded that. I'm going to say 93, 94. You know, it was right in there. He recorded it here, and I'm trying to think of the studio. I think he did it at Larrabee. I could be wrong. Everybody, don't send me the emails. But because I was working with the engineer and the drummer and some other stuff, and I was selling him gear and as they worked on the album. Point being, back then, the art of that type of production really hadn't happened yet. Rob was creating this genre, right? And if you think about how groundbreaking White Zombie was and the importance of Astro Creep 2000, because its sound, its sonic integrity, it didn't sound like anything else. And there were a lot of good things that were out back then, but Astro Creep set the standard. I'm telling you, if you were in a band that was trying to be like this, and I don't care, you can name anything, Slipknot, I don't care, pick a band that was moving into this direction. They listened to Astro Creep, and they went back to their demos, and they're like, "This is what we need this to sound like. This is where it's at."
Man, that's like, it's kind of like with what I'm making right now. I keep, like, every day I listen to so many different albums, hours every day, and every day I go through like 5-10 different things. I'm like, man, I haven't done a song like this. I haven't done a song like this. And next thing I know, I'm at like 20 songs. I'm like, oh man, I'm not done yet.
Yeah. And that's a really good, healthy way to go through things. You know, never be satisfied. You know, and always, you know, when you're in the creative zone, right? You're in the creative zone, and the juices are flowing. Sometimes some little thing, you know, some audio clip, some visual, something will inspire you to go back and you'll end up writing a whole song off of that, you know, just, you know, to push you in that direction. And you know what? There's one thing about Astro Creep 2000 that needs to be said. It'll give you nightmares. It's that well done.
In all the right ways.
Yeah. In all the right ways. The songs, they're cinematic. Right? And they cause these visuals. You know, Rob sings with clarity. First off, you understand every word that he's singing. His content and what he's writing about is some of the craziest stuff. You know, it's just right there on the fringe. And then you've got this great music and the production, the way it's put together. And it causes you to imagine. And that is something that's very difficult. All of us want to be able to produce and write songs that do that. Rob has a way. That's why he's such a good film director. You know, he's got that talent of creativity. It doesn't matter where he applies it, it's going to come through. But that's another thing about Astro Creep. You know, and his live shows. I'm telling you, his live shows scared me, man.
Oh man, I don't even know how many times I've seen him, and every time there is no band that I've seen on Earth, and I go to metal shows religiously, that can compare to the production that he puts on stage.
Right.
It's
right.
ridiculous.
Did you see the Astro Creep tour in 95?
Well,
no,
Jimmy,
actually, wait a minute. I'm going to say the tour that I saw, I got to correct myself here. This was 1999. That was that was the tour with the House of 1,000 Corpses video playing in the background. And
is that movie that old?
Yeah. Well, I know. I was working. At that time, I was working for Ashdown, the bass amplifier company, the guitar amplifiers. I was working for Ashdown, and I supplied one, maybe even both. I can't even remember. Certainly, the opening band had Ashdown there. Well, anyway, I'm able to pin the timeline down because of where I was working at the time. So I would say it was 1999. Yeah.
Well, I definitely didn't see that one because I would have been like 7 years old.
In 1999? Are you that young?
Yeah.
Am I that old?
Yeah. Well, we can word it as I'm that young if it makes you feel that better.
Oh, man. Okay, well, anyway, that was the year that they had those robots. And those robots...
Yeah, well, he does that. Because every time I've seen him, he's had those robots come out. And, man, if my memory is right, which who knows these days, but I saw him, it was like 11 years ago. He was playing with Ozzy. And it was my first time seeing him. And he came out on stage, and he had those robots. And it was like a robot took him out in a coffin. And then he came out of the coffin, and he had like these big branch arms, and that was my first live introduction to Rob Zombie. Oh yeah,
right. Okay, so these were what's really funny about this is that John Tempesta was the drummer. And I've known John since, I've probably known John since 1993. Okay,
well, hey, John, I need a drummer.
Thereabout. And then Jay Younger was a friend of mine. Ivan, who was his original drummer. I knew him before... John Tempesta. You know what I mean? That's how long I've been hanging out with that band. It goes back that long. So, but that I can't believe we just spent an entire segment talking about White Zombie. But we can. That's how much I love that band and Rob. But going back to what you're talking about, the robots. The stage that he was using in 1999 and 2000 had this, John Tempesta was up like 3 stories in the air. Okay, you were looking up at John Tempesta. He was surrounded by flames the whole night firing, but he's up on this third level. On the second level were a bunch of, if my memory serves me correctly, nurses that were zombies that were dancing, right? And they were across, and they were all dancing in flames. They were like the nurses in Silent Hill. Right, so he had that going, and then on the bottom level was Rob, the bass player and guitar player, and then the robots. So the whole stage was open for these robots to come out. And now listen, the audience is going, "What robots?" You got to listen to what I'm saying here. These things were frightening. They were 3 stories tall. They were, and I still don't know how. I don't know how they operated. I don't know how he pulled it off, and they were scared.
How many semis does he need to deliver all this property?
Right. And it's not cheesy thing. It was this giant production. I can't put it into words. Somebody post up in Twitter Rob Zombie robots on stage, whatever that takes to get those up there. because it's something that you have to see to believe. Absolutely crazy. All right, who else was on that list?
We got, Jonathan Davis, his solo album that he finally put out after like 10 years. That one, that's my winner of the year, Black Labyrinth.
Is it better than Astro Creep Live?
Honestly, like, it's in some ways yes, in some ways no. Like, they're totally different energies.
Right.
Like, I would say musically, Black Labyrinth is definitely, it's better than Astro Creep, and I guess as like a journey it is, and if you want to talk hippie sense, but
is it better? Is it better than Korn?
That's a tough one, man.
It is.
Korn has always been, but it's just I can't say yes or no to that. It's completely different. It's a totally different feel than Korn. It's obviously Jonathan Davis, his voice is his voice, but it's, I don't know, it's something you definitely have to listen to that.
And,
I would say out of all of them.
So Jonathan Davis up there, okay. So that's your number one must listen for 2018, Jonathan Davis. And I'm sure it's amazing. I'm sure it's amazing. I mean, I'm a huge fan. Did you see, maybe you posted it, the top 10 growling metal singers? Did you see the list?
Yeah, I posted that.
Oh, was that you? Was that you that posted it? Peter Tackern came in at number 4.
Oh yeah, man. I was gonna put you to the test tonight and read you off some lyrics of his from Eaton to see if you would pass the test. But
oh, that's right. Wait a minute. You did post it because I said that you should be on this list. That's right. I remember that now. I do remember that.
Well, hey, speaking of Peter, all right, Jimmy, here's the deal.
Okay.
Hypocrisy just announced their tour.
That's right. And you ready for hold on, I'm going to bum you out.
Okay.
He just told me I've got the full Hypocrisy tour gear box coming in the mail for Christmas. Yep.
I was going to throw something out to you, but now might not even matter. I was going to say, I'm definitely not going to pay for your ticket or your airplane ticket or your lodging. But aside from that, if you want to come out to Seattle to see them, I can buy you a beer. There's your offer.
Now, if he plays in L.A., I won't pay for your plane ticket. But if you come down here, I can promise you backstage. That I could promise you. If you wanted to make it down here.
You keep enticing me with stuff, man.
See,
man, Soul Tech, I went broke going there, but it was worth it. Now you throw me this. I'm going to have to go broke doing that.
You know what
I'm going to do it.
You know what was impressive is that in that video list, in the video of the top 10, Peter's voice, because he can get all guttural, right? He can, but it's a clear, right?
And that's my favorite. That's like him and Chris Barnes.
Yeah,
they
Cliff
have
Barnes.
That like orc guttural where you can hear everything.
You can hear it all, yeah.
But with Peter, he like the one thing where that's been probably one of my biggest focus points on vocals this last couple of years is like how Peter does this, Devin Townsend does it, Gojira, Behemoth, they do that pitch screaming.
Right.
It's a scream, but it sounds so melodic and it's hitting notes.
Right.
Like, he's got that down to the next level.
Yeah, he is so crystal clear. And I'm excited about this. So he sent me images. This was last month. I can send them to you. He sent me front and back images of their tour T-shirts, and he was like, which one do you think we? I was like, man, I like them both. So and I got to see the hats. He's probably listening right now, going, "Church, man, you shut up," right? but so I got and I'm really looking forward to that, and I know. that his content for this new hypocrisy, and I've talked to him about it quite a bit, what he is focusing on, because he's always been very outspoken about disclosure, ET and alien contact, and the New World Order and who's running things and this Earth, and he's very concerned about it, and he wants to express this through his music. So I know that this next album and how he wants the album cover to be and stuff, I know that it's going to be so cool, and I've seen the T-shirt. It's just going to be great. It's going to be great. He's just an amazing talent. He's an amazing talent.
Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that offer there. Because I know there's like 2 California shows. Off the top of my head, I don't remember where in California.
What? Really?
But
okay, I didn't know they released those dates yet.
Yeah, they just put it out because I know it's them and Flesh God, which that's also. Oh yeah. But man, yeah, okay. Let's be in touch about. I'm
literally emailing him. I'm emailing him right now. What are the tour dates for Los Angeles?
Off the top of my head, I want to say California
and
in March.
And where are my T-shirts and hats? Okay. Okay, there you go. All right. That's going out right now. We'll find out.
Perfect.
Send. There you go. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll be over at Coast to Coast Saturday and Sunday, so come over and hang out with us there. Then we'll see you on Monday. But there you go. Okay, so when I find out about these dates, I'll hit you back on that, and that'll be cool, man. If you can make it down here, I'll make it happen. It's my promise.
All right, man. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Brett. Behave and be well. Oh, Inquire.
Yeah,
I just said your secret name.
Oh, no, it's all good.
I'll talk to you, Inquire. Behave and be well, my friend.
All right, see you, man.
Inquire Within. Thursday night, Fader night, open lines all night long. When I have a good conversation with somebody, I'm never going to end it, and that was a perfect conversation right there. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back after this short break. More of your phone calls are next. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy. Do you want to be an official Fadernight? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the paranormal radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and it's Thursday night. It is Fader night. Open lines all night long. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 921-6929. Let's go to Florida. Florida, you're up next. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. It's Christina. How are you?
I'm doing good, Christina. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for taking my phone call. I've been waiting for this since you went to the premiere of Bob Lazar, and I heard that you were there.
Yes, I was. And before we get to your phone call, I just got this in from our producer, Renee. There's some breaking news right now. CNN's offices in New York have been evacuated due to a bomb threat. This was just released. And the offices and studios have been evacuated. 5 alarm bells have rang inside of CNN's newsroom. And this was right after. This is happening now. So there you go. This is developing, and if anything happens, I will break in with that. Thank you, Renee, for that, and we'll stay on top of it. Okay, Christine, how are you?
Yes, I'm very good. Thank you, Jimmy. I've been following you for almost 2 years now, so I'm very excited to be with you on Thursday night.
Well, right on. How's that going for you so far?
Very good after work, and I have a lot on my mind, and I figured that you are the best person to talk to about these matters.
Okay, well, I do what I can. Christine. And have you seen the new Bob Lazar movie?
I have not. I've been busy with work, but I followed everything that was put out on the internet about it, except I didn't watch the movie yet. So I watched like an hour presentation of Jeremy, and it was very amazing. I really like his work, and I like to mention one of his work, which I think it's amazing, which Dr. Roger Lear is removing alien implants from patient 17. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. I saw patient 17 a few years ago, and it's an interesting film for sure. And Roger Lear was a very interesting guy. I only got to meet him once, and he passed away shortly after that. But what are your expectations for the film?
Well, I really don't have expectations. I just go with an open mind and see what the information Jeremy put out there and Bob Lazar. And, this is a very touchy subject. And actually, I believe that this is the greatest threshold humanity as a race and the evolution ever faced, what we are standing in front of. So I feel like that many people are fired up and they're looking for the truth, trying to put together what it means. And I really like it that Jeremy was bringing out Bob Lazar experience, seeing these UFOs and being in one of them, and even talking about it, that he said this word, I know that these alien beings are existing and they were in this ship. And I think many of your listeners and many people are kind of getting over this fact that, okay, we know that we already seen UFOs. Personally, I heard that you have seen one too, right?
I've seen many, sure, yes.
You've seen many. So I have my own experience. I had family visitation. I seen a UFO a couple of months ago, and I have another experience which I don't really like to go into it because that's a very long conversation, and I don't want to take it away from other people. But what I like to bring out regarding the Bob Lazar movie, that I think that the next question is that we already went through that these beings exist. The question is, what do they want? And have you heard about the Declaration of Human Sovereignty?
Yes, I have. And it's you bring up a bunch of very important points. And I think before I get to your last statement, before I get to that, this is, and I agree with you, this is the thing about Bob Lazar. If you go back to those dates, 1990, 91, 92, and what happened in ufology after that, Bob was, and with George Knapp, of course, too, as well. But what he did for research and for knowledge opened up this huge thing, just tremendous on all fronts. And it starts with Area 51 and S4, certainly, but reverse engineering, certainly Element 115. The fact that he had read that it was Zeta Reticuli and that they have been visiting here for at least 10,000 years, all of this opened up a huge amount of research for so many that it was it set the stage for ufology the way it is today. And without Bob Lazar, he was that important. He really changed the landscape. And I don't know how much of it is true or factual. I'm not even sure if that's important. What is important is that he caused so many to look and to research into these other areas where nobody had really considered it in this fashion before. So with ufology, just like anything else in life, we have ufology before Bob Lazar and then after Bob Lazar. And that he changed it, right? He changed it. It's like saying, there was music before Elvis and then music after Elvis, right? Elvis changed things. You know what I mean? There are certain and very few.
Just like Michael Jackson. Right?
Michael Jackson is a perfect example, Christine. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And so when you look at his impact, you know, you can go right to that time period, and you know why things changed, and it was because of Bob Lazar. You know, he's that important.
Right.
You know, now, how much of it is true? I don't know. You know, only Bob knows. Only Bob knows. But it's
you know, I kind of like after when did this happen and Roswell and all of it. This is like almost going back like 80 years and even more. Let's just look at our modern time of ufology and when this is being really a concern and this being pushed on and hushed on. Let's call things on their name. This is my biggest problem is that 50 years of UFO research and people looking into this matter, how come that people cannot call it what it is? I like to call them out in a way that, first of all, you are penetrating in our airspace. You know, these beings coming here in the middle of the night, uninvited, quietly, not telling us what their agenda is. So first of all, they are violating our airspace, right? You cannot go and fly over Russia or the Russian over America without having any kind of problems with their military Air Force planes and stuff. So therefore, we should have rules of engagements with these beings and say that, listen, you want visitation? You want to come here? What do you want? Who are you? When are you going to come? When are you going to show up? You're going to come over to my home? Then I want to know that what time you come in here. I want to know how long you're going to stay. I want to know what your agenda, why you are visiting. You know, let's just be like square. Just like you make friends and everything, you're not going to let all those strangers into your home without asking what's going on. And the second of all, they coming into our home, taking people, abducting people, and I don't even know if I can call these violation out, but, you know, these violation going into murder, rape, mutilation, and all of this, and this has been kept in secret. Now, all of us who are looking into this subject, they are asking a question. How this can happen, you know, that everybody who's trying to bring out the truth are either put down, murdered, or taken out of circulation. Very few people can really speak the truth, and everybody's welcoming these beings when they are doing a violation. In my family, there was a violation happen. They came in the middle of the night visiting my family, and they were not invited. Right. If somebody comes into my bedroom while I'm sleeping and I get a chance to wake up and catch them, you can count on it what they're gonna say. You know, I'm just a woman.
That's right.
But
that's
I'm
right.
gonna kick their ass.
Right. And see, okay, look at it like this, and don't take this the wrong way, because I understand your home is your home, and you know, an invasion of privacy, and you know, I get that, I totally understand it, but look at it this way for a second. When you are walking through the woods, you're walking through the woods. You are not at home. You are now in nature. You're in nature's world, and you're invading their world. You know what I mean? And if you step on insects, or you're killing insects, and you don't, you know, are you looking down to make sure you don't step on ants or whatever, you know? Well, are they looking at you as somebody that's invading them? You know, and are you concerned about that? Now, and I know that may sound extreme, but with an advanced alien race looking at us, who are we to them? Are they necessarily right? And if you're a scientist, an anthropologist, you know, some kind of biologist, and you're going down into Brazil and going into the jungles and looking for new species, and you find something, it's brand new, and a species that hasn't been discovered, and now it's going to be called the Christine, right? Because you just discovered it, and you take it, and it could be a mammal, it could be an insect, it could be a reptile, but you take it, You throw it in a bag and you bring it back to Florida to the university so you can check it out and get the science behind it and the DNA and the organs, and you're going to dissect it. You just took somebody's mom or dad away from their family in Brazil. Now,
right, but we are sentient beings.
Wait a minute. So isn't a mammal? You know, are they any smarter or dumber than us? Do they have feelings? Are they able to understand humor? You know, I don't. All I'm saying is we have to kind of look at it from the other side. That's all. You know, I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it, but they may not even understand. You know, that is.
Yeah, you're actually right. I think you're right on that. I mean, probably they look at us like just cows, or just another resource, you know?
We're still driving cars that burn gas, you know, and so, I mean, how intelligent are we to them? But anyway, that's the only, and I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but I'm just saying we have to just kind of step back a little bit and try to figure out, advance our thoughts a little bit, and think about why they would be, you know, how they would be looking at us. And it doesn't make it.
Here's my point. So if they are so advanced and so, you know, over technologically advanced, and they can fly around, and they are, let's say, they claiming themselves that they're spiritually enlightened. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be more fair if they don't come here and interfere? Why would they have to take us and take our children, for example? Because, you know, some people welcome abduction. Mm-hmm. I personally don't understand at what point abduction become of a likable experience. Right. You know, I think this is a pacification program is going on, pacifying people to believing that this is good for humanity, when we are facing the greatest threat. Like, these beings can, with their highly technological advanced machinery, I can't even imagine, they can project thoughts, they can project images of our saints and Jesus and whatever you want to name. So imagine that these beings can come into your bedroom, and then whoever you are believing, you know, Michael Jackson, they project his image or Jesus' image in the bedroom, and now you are a total believer that
yes,
that Jesus showed up. And imagine that in the Word, how many people are following this certain religion? Now, these leaders can be manipulated to make us believe that, well, yes, welcome the visitors. We're going to just bless them and put them into society. I think that's a very big mistake we are making. We only have one big chance to make contact with life, intelligent life, and I don't think it's happening on our terms. I mean, if they are so intelligent, they can give us advice, because yes, we abuse our nature. Yes, we have plenty of work to do, and you know, we need to have a sustainable environment. We have to make sure that the species are not dying off. Like, every day, more than 1,600 species are dying, and we are basically destroying this beautiful planet. And there is a reason why there is no other planets being discovered in our vicinity in space, because we are living and sitting on the greatest enterprise which other beings want. Because the more advanced their technological advancement, whatever it is, it means that they need to travel and seek for resources. Every living being needs resources. You need to eat, you need to fuel your car, you know, you need to make money, pay your rent, and all of these things, right? So they have to have resources to support their technological advancement, or whatever they function with. And they need these resources from us. They need air, they need plasma, they need water. They might say that they overcome war and all of these things, but let's think logically, you know, let's not lose our common sense and believe them. I want to see and face to face, and maybe not in my living room, because they are not welcome in my house. And And any out of space visitors who are listening, I have a message for them that they are not welcome here. I don't approve that they taking human beings. I don't approve them to visiting my family and taking the children and doing all kinds of experiment on them. I don't approve this. And they need to leave. And when we are ready for contact, then we can do it as grown-ups. And don't come here and take our resources. This is our planet, and we need it because we have more than 7 billion people living here. And we have to grown up and take hands in our matter. But, these things need to be said out, that abduction, hybridization is not okay. They hybridizing human beings with their race so they can plant them into our society. This is their deepest secret, which they would not want us to be. They don't want this to be revealed. And this is the biggest thing what's happening in our world. These hybrids are already walking amongst us. You already interviewed Dr. David Jacobs, and he can talk about this in great details. Over 1,000 people he investigated and did research on it. This is the real stuff, underground bases and all of these things. They hide their planes and UFOs in large body of water, in mountainous tops, on places where people hardly don't go. People are disappearing in national parks. David Paulides talks about it in Missing 411. This is very serious subject, and this is not okay with me. And there are many other people who are abducted. They are being ridiculed, and implants are being put into them. This is not okay. It's not okay with us, and we need to stand up for our future generation, for the children. We need to unite and pull together because this is the greatest threat for humanity, that we're destroying our planet and making contact with other intelligent life. And freedom is everything. Our sustainability directly connected with our freedom. And I'm not this smart to figure all of this out. I followed The Allies of Humanity by Marsha a year ago. You made an interview. I'm forever thankful for you for that because that interview is the pure signal, that's the pure signal that's coming from that. And I love humanity. I want humanity's well-being, and I don't want those millions of people being abducted. That's not okay. It's not right. We need to stop this.
Thank you so much, Christine. Great phone call, and a first-time caller, too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you so much. I talk to you soon.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. That's Christine in Florida. Thank you so much. Let's go to Colorado. You're up next on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, Casper Parks.
Hey, Casper.
Your comedy relief. Your comedy relief for tonight, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
All right. You're familiar with mysterious lights in the sky.
Yes.
And mysterious sounds and booms.
Yes.
And mysterious smells that pop up from time to time.
I've had a few of those. There's a few of those going on right now in the bunker.
Okay. And, shortly after midnight on the 6th, this mysterious smell is all over Michigan, saturated everything. And I figured out what it is, Jimmy. It's the smell of Prop 1.
The smell? What is Prop 1? What is Prop 1 in Michigan?
Okay. 10 days after the election was certified, recreational cannabis became legal in Michigan, which is the 6th of December.
Shut up. Is that true?
Yes, correct.
No. Is that true?
Yes.
I did not know.
Anywhere, but you cannot carry 2.5 ounces. You can have up to 10 ounces in your house. However, it has to be under lock and key. Like 7.5 ounces, it has to be under lock and key. You can grow up to 12 plants at this time. They're looking at sometime in early 2020, spring 2020, before the shops open up. The first dibs are going to be for if people are selling medical cannabis now. They'll get first dibs on license processing. Michigan has a 6% sales tax, and there's a 10% sales tax on cannabis for recreational. It's going to be split up 35% to roads, 35% to schools, 15% to local governments that have cannabis business within their jurisdiction. They're estimating it'll put $140 million by 2023 into the school fund. That's the current estimate on it.
Well, let me jump in. Let me jump in here really quick, Casper. Then we'll pick up. The all clear has been given after the CNN offices were evacuated. There was a phone call that said that there were 5 bombs placed inside of the CNN offices. There is now an all clear. Okay, Casper. So I'm reading. I did not know about this. Prop 1 made Michigan the first state in the Midwest to legalize the possession and use of recreational marijuana for aged 21 years and older adults. Individuals were permitted to grow up to 12 plants in their homes. Created an excise tax of 10%, like you just mentioned, that will be divided up between local governments, education, kindergarten through 12th grade, and road and bridge maintenance. The ballot initiative also legalized the cultivation, processing, distribution, and sale of industrial hemp. Municipalities were authorized to ban or limit marijuana establishments within their boundaries. Wow. So right now, Casper, you live in Michigan. What are you, as of today, December 6th, how much can you carry?
2.5 ounces.
2.5? See, we can only do an ounce here in California. So in Michigan, 2.5 ounces, what, in your pockets, in your car?
Yeah, it has to be sealed.
It has to be sealed.
Yeah. And right now, they're still, like you say, everything is still working out yet through legalities and all that. Is in your car, can it be like, you can have a beer in your car as long as it's not open, you're okay.
Right.
And as far as cannabis goes, I believe they're still working on it. Can it be in your pocket? Does it have to be in a glove box? That kind of thing yet? I think it can just be in your pocket, is what I think.
Wow.
I'm understanding it.
Now, what about right now? Can you go and buy some right now?
No. No. But they have 12 months from today, from December 6th, to start processing licenses.
Right.
And so they're saying it's probably going to be around spring of 2020, maybe. That's
now,
what they're guessing.
Can you smoke it on the street?
No, you can't smoke in the public. You can't smoke in your front porch if it's not enclosed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The driveway, the sidewalk. In your backyard, it's not considered public. Inside your residence, friend's residence. I know they're talking about opening micro grows, which would be similar to a microbrewery.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to assume you could go in there and smoke.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be kind of, a lot of that's going to depend, because a lot of places have regulations now where you can't smoke inside certain buildings.
Right.
So, it's all going to have to play out. Right now, the lame duck in Michigan is trying. It's going to take 75% supermajority to change the law because the people voted on it.
Right.
And it was 56. Rounding it to the biggest number, it was 56% yes, 44% no.
You know what, Casper, do me a favor. Stay right there. Let me put you on hold. This is just too important for us not to cover. So just stay right there. I got to take a break. All right? This is I'm excited, man. I'm excited. The good people in Holly, Michigan, right? Get to puff it out. All right, this is Fade to Black. We're talking about Prop 1 up in Michigan. December 6th is the day. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Open lines Thursday night, Fader nights, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. And on the line, we've got author Casper Parks with us, who is I did not know that Prop 1 in Michigan, as of today, December 6th, pot is now legal for recreational use statewide in Michigan. And that's incredible. Now, Casper, we'll get back to that in a second, but don't you think it's about time that the feds, that we just make this nationwide, right? I mean, did you hear the story that broke 3 days ago, that the company that owns Marlboro now, whoever that is,
R.J. Reynolds.
Yeah, no, it's another company. Starts with an A. It doesn't.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, we all think R.J. Reynolds, but anyway, it's making a move on the big cannabis company up in Canada. Right now, seriously, they've got Coca-Cola's been talking about doing this too as well. And this is there's a certain amount of money in it. There's a lot of jobs that are in it. I get all of that. There's the health benefits. We have the CBD side of it. There's the whole health and wellness industry too as well. Big pharma's probably going to really get involved in this, but it's something that needs to be a federal mandate. Let's just make it legal across the United States and be done with it.
Right, which brings me to this. We're in sync tonight, Jimmy, really well, actually. Okay. Because right now I'm at regulatemichigan.org, which is where the law is at, and I'm like looking right at it, reading it. A micro grower can get a license for up to 100 plants. Class B, up to 500 plants. Class C is 2,000 plants. They can't have more than 5 grower licenses of any type at the same time for 2023. Then that will increase. And what they've done now, because you're talking about big corporations, okay, and to change this law now because it was voted on by the voters, it's going to take, I believe it's 75% of the supermajority, not just half, it has to be a supermajority to change the legislation. And the week that we're finishing here, they've introduced legislation in Michigan. I can tell you the guy's name that introduced the legislation if someone wants to look it up. Is they're trying to change the Prop 1 where you can't grow cannabis at home anymore. They want to make that illegal. And the micro-grow operations, they want to make that illegal. So you have to get one of the big corporate licenses almost, or big business licenses, and you have to cost a lot of money with fees plus setting up facilities to grow. So it's almost like they're trying to cut out the small business guy. But it's going to take, like I said, 75% to pass. It's probably not, but it's something we need to watch between now and the 20th of December to see if they push it through. But yeah, it's really going to be amazing. I think that a lot of cities here, I think the estimate's over 80% are opting out not to have businesses in them. Grand Rapids, though, is opted in already. I think Kalamazoo's going to opt in. South Haven, I think, is opting out. Howell's opting out. Grand Haven's opting out. I think that those 3 cities along the coast, White Sand Beaches, I think they're making a mistake opting out because they get a lot of tourism from Indiana and Illinois up there. But you had something else you want to ask me about this topic, Ken?
Well, see, there's a part of me that is overjoyed, right? Like rejoicing. I am so happy about this. There's that part. And then there's another strange part about this that I feel okay, and I'll tell you I'm just going to cut to the chase. You go down to Venice Beach right now, okay, which is a huge tourism spot here in Southern California. And I love it. It's great. I've spent a lot of time down there with my family. And you go down to Venice Beach and you walk at Venice Beach. And now it has turned into, it's always been strange and weird and cool and kooky. And you've got, jugglers with flaming things that they're juggling and guys on unicycles. And you have Muscle Beach and you have all the basketball tournaments and, White Men Can't Jump, all of that stuff that's going on. You've got all the vendors, you've got the food and the T-shirts and the craziness and the sunglasses. It's all of that, right? It's so much fun, and it goes on for about a mile or two. But now when you go down there, it's every 10 feet. You've got some guy out pimping a doctor that will cut. This is before it was recreational, right? And every 10 feet that you can have a doctor that will give you a script right now, and they're like out there with families and stuff. And it was like this intrusive thing, and you can smell the weed, and so you go in. and get your prescription, and then you can go and buy it right next door at the shop next door. And it was this money-grabbing, uncomfortable thing that happened when it was medicinal. Now it is legal. And so now when you go down to Venice Beach, it's like this most intrusive thing where you can't walk down there with your 5-year-old kid, you know, on a family vacation from out of state and walk down. It just feels weird. It's like it's gone too far. Most of the marijuana shops, the pot shops around here, are totally sophisticated and cool and upscale, and you walk in and it's fun, you know. And I'm just glad that it hasn't gotten out of control, right? Because I think there's a certain responsibility, just like with alcohol and other things, where you still need to be an adult about this, you know. And Michigan can learn from that. I know that Colorado went through their aches and pains with this, and you know, it's always been pretty, you know, and Seattle and Washington, and so now it's statewide and it's legal here. So you need to learn from that, and Michigan, take some baby steps here. You know, don't go all in, right? You know, don't go all in yet, and don't free for all it.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned in the speaker chat, if you're going to carry weed in Michigan, you should probably put it in the trunk. She's probably right. They're already talking about cracking down on public use. That's like a big thing here. I mean, that's like on the news all the time. They keep hammering that no public use. It's like $1,000 or $1 fine or something like that. It's not cheap. you get using it in public. It's not cheap.
Right.
So. They're already, I think they've already learned that lesson from that.
Right.
Then the difference now, marijuana is spelled with a J and with an H. And when I was researching today, one of the reasons I came up with that was they did the marijuana tax, federal excise tax was done in 1937 in Michigan anyway. And that's how they spelled it, was with an H. I guess the J came later. Twitter will probably correct me on it pretty soon. But I think if you look at some of the old posters or the old film from Reefer Madness and all that, I bet it's I haven't looked at it yet, but I wonder if it's spelled with an H versus the J. And some of the governments were saying they were doing the H for the spelling just to keep a reference for searches to track, you know, cannabis or marijuana through the history of the United States.
That's interesting. I did not know that. I've seen it spelled both ways. I'm looking at the votes here. Yes, 2.3 million. No, 1.8 million. So it's pretty overwhelming, 55% to 44%. So it definitely, the public has spoken. And I bet if we did a national vote, you know, it made some kind of federal national vote like we, you know, for the president, it would pass. You know, it would pass. Yeah.
Right now, someone can give it to you, but you can't buy it.
Now, here, this is what they were doing here in Southern California. They're working on this now, where you can smoke in, you know, like a lounge, right? So now there's a certain push here. I don't think it's happened yet, but they're talking about this is like imminent. Having a section of a bar, you know, you can't smoke at a pot shop, right? That's out. That's out. You can't do that. You smell the weed burning, you know, but you're not supposed to smoke. But like if there's a smoking patio out back of a bar where you could smoke weed, or there's some kind of controlled ventilated room where you can go in and smoke weed that doesn't affect the rest of the people in the establishment. And so that's right around the corner here in Southern California, pot bars. And now this is the other, just like drinking and driving, and the other concern with this, although I don't know if anybody's gotten too high yet where they've crashed their car. I wonder what the stats are with that. You know, DUIs with pot. But that's one of the things that they are stressing down here. You can't drive high. And if you think it's legal to smoke and drive, it is not. Now, I don't know how they test for that or how they would know. And if you go and get in a car accident and they take a blood test, there's no alcohol, but they find pot in your system, what happens with that? I know it's illegal, but what are the tolerances? How much pot is an impairment? I don't know. But that's the other thing. So if you're going to go smoke at some pot lounge.
They're running a test on saliva right now for that, like a breathalyzer.
Right. That's it? And can they process it on the scene?
Yeah, that's what they're saying, but I think there's been some argument about how accurate it is. Because, THC stays in your system for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
it stays in your liver, I think, right? It stays in your liver? Stays in your fat cells?
Too, I think.
Yeah.
So...
Well, that's my concern. This is the weed that is out now isn't the weed that you and I grew up with, right? Panama Red, Colombian Gold, right? That whatever. Today, it's all this atomic stuff. It's crazy. Mad scientists are creating these hybrids and these strains, and it's so good and so strong. And if you go into a pot bar and you're just puffing up, and then go out and get it in a car and drive. That's I don't know. And I don't want to poo-poo on this whole thing, and I don't want to sound like my dad or my parents. I don't want to do that because I'm not. But it's like we need to learn from this a little bit. I think baby steps, because I've wanted pot legalized my entire life. Right? I just have.
Yeah, it's so different now because when you and I really smoked back in the day, you had seeds to sort out, you had the stems, the seeds, and now I guess the stuff doesn't even have seeds in it anymore. It's like seedless. Like seedless watermelon. So I guess there's been a lot of changes with it. So, but the stuff I was smoking back like in the 80s, early 90s, when I was at the rehearsal studio. I met Jack Hare a couple different times and visited with him. He was cool. It's the guy that wrote The Emperor Wears No Clothes. He's passed away since.
Yes. Well, I remember, and I'm going to let you go here in just a second, but and thank you for the phone call. But I remember one of the cool things about going to a rock concert is you didn't worry about taking weed there, right? Everybody smoked, everything. But when you got there, joints for $1. All you had to do was just hang out somewhere inside of the arena, and some guys coming by, walk, you know what I mean? $1, joints for $1. And it seemed like it was open. There was no concern about it. And I'm talking about 1980, 79, 70, 78, 81, 82. But it was open, and there wasn't a concern. Look, if the police wanted to go in and make a bunch of pot arrests, just go to a Black Sabbath concert, and go in, because the whole place is full of smoke, right? And so I'm not saying that I'm trying to downplay the fun factor of all of this. Pot is legal here in California. You can go and buy it. You can go and shop for it. You can go and have fun. It's legal. You can drive around with it. You can do whatever. But having pot bars, and it feels a little strange to me, like we're pushing it a little bit too fast. Do whatever you want at home, chill out, go and buy it legally. There's no stress, but let's take some baby steps here before we get too ahead of our skis.
All right. Well, thanks for the review on the bottles. I'm gonna, as soon as that comes up for rental on like Amazon or somewhere, I'll rent it and watch it.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think. It's okay. It's okay. Just
I remember back when his story first broke. So, but I should let you go. You got other callers. So.
Yeah, just don't. You've already heard me say this enough, Casper. Don't go in with any expectations. I had expectations, and I was let down. But if I went in without any expectations, I would have come out okay. It would have been fine. So just go in without any expectations. Watch it, and then let me know what you think.
Okay, I'll do that. Listen, thanks again for taking my call. Have a good Fader weekend, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much, Casper. Pot is legal in the state of Michigan. I'm looking at it right here. Prop 1. Congratulations. Times are a-changing. All right. I think I got Neil on the line. Neil, is this you?
Yeah, this is me.
How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing okay. I guess the aliens in Michigan can get high now, huh?
Well, it's certainly legal. It's certainly legal there, Neil. All right, so what's on your mind tonight?
Well, the thing that's the main issue that I really have to do is the money issue of the world government and World War III that's about to happen. One reason why we're having a lot of immigrants leaving different countries is you have, artificial intelligence taking over jobs like farming and all kinds of stuff. In the next 10 years, artificial intelligence is going to be taking over a lot of people's jobs in the higher sector, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, we have to have a world government where everybody gets free, the homeless. You got to start with the homeless. Everybody gets a free home, free electricity, free food stamps, right? Free education and free medical. It's five things. What happens is that's plan A. Plan B would be people that work at McDonald's, low end, minimum wage stuff. They would get the same thing. Then plan C would be you'd have to take something from the plan C because they make a lot more money, But this has to be worldwide, to stop this chaos stuff. And see, the reason why the governments are fighting like Russia and China and America and all the other countries is because of oil and money. That's a big problem,
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing to stop the World War III is if we start fighting these invisible aliens, because I got a vision, I know how to stop. We have to stop this world war because our leaders are ignorant, stupid. You know what?
Oh, but
Neil, I like to say a lot of.
Yeah, Neil. I need to rope you back in for a second. Let's come back to center. You said that the reason why we have so much immigration today into the United States is because artificial intelligence is taking over their jobs in foreign countries. Do you have examples of that?
Well, it's not just that. It's just the problems in the country. They just, like, when I went to Mexico, Mexicans don't have welfare. They don't have a lot of stuff that the government has. Europe is having problems, like France is having a lot of problems with immigrants coming in there from leaving, from crazy countries.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more. But in the future, what I'm saying is, artificial intelligence is computer, I'm going to give you an example. What about the car industry? You know how many computer machines they have now, So it's taking away welding jobs, But in the next 10 years, I heard, we're going to be losing a lot more of the jobs, and a lot of people are worried about it.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I'm in agreement with you there. But there's another aspect to this, at least for me, Neil, that the image for the United States, if you are outside of this country and you don't have a lot, the image of the United States is pretty bleeping appealing. Fun, clothes, music, cars, homes, money, jobs, fun, entertainment, if this, that, every city. You see the United States as being very appealing. Now, there are people right now, as soon as I say this, from France or from Spain and from England or Germany or the Netherlands or Japan, they're going to email me and go, dude, I love my country. It's so much better than the United States. You don't know what you're talking about. The United States is messed up. So I'll get those emails, and I get that. I understand that. But there are things about the United States that are projected out there constantly about how great this country is. And that is a reason for a lot of people to come here to just hang out and have fun. and get a great job and do these things and live this lifestyle that is projected on them. And I totally get that. For a lot of people, when they say the United States, the roads are paved with gold, well, we know that they are not. But for a lot of people on this planet,
a lot of potholes.
for a lot of people on this planet, they are paved with gold. To them, it is just that, and that's really the truth. So, is that the cause of? Yeah, I mean that's a big appeal to a lot of people to come and move to the United States and potentially leave where they grew up and their families and their history and their family dynasty and all of that. They are so willing to leave all of that behind. I mean, how bad is it? How motivated are you to move to the United States and just leave everything behind?
Well, they don't have jobs. One thing, that's one problem they have.
Sure.
And another thing is, they don't have benefits like United States and all that stuff. But if you do a program where it's a worldwide thing, that means all the governments like Venezuela or, all them countries that's coming up through Mexico, if they have these benefits there like they have in America, guess what? They're not going to come here. And we don't have to worry about terrorism. The biggest problem Trump has, and I have with it, is the terrorism that all the criminals are coming across the border too with them, and so and they're taking American jobs.
Yeah,
they're taking American jobs too.
That's possible. I mean, that's possible, but you have the possibilities of terrorists just landing here on an airplane or coming over here on a Norwegian cruise lines, on a ship in first class. I'm not that concerned with that. If you're a criminal, look, Neil, if you're a criminal, you're going to figure out a way. If you're a criminal that lives outside of this country and you want to get into it, you're going to figure out a way. All right, it's not so you can't stop.
Yeah, but see, I'm trying to stop World War III. You don't understand. I had a vision a long time when I was a little kid, and it came true.
You think World War III is going to be caused from immigration? No.
No, it's not that. It's
Okay,
about
good.
greed. You don't understand. It's about greed. It's one thing. The biggest problem we have is China and Russia went the other way. We thought they were going to try to be free, and have a democratic thing, but the dictators took over. Okay. That's the biggest problem we have. So I don't know who's going to do the first strike.
There won't be one. There won't be one. There won't be a world. No, there's not going to be a World War III. I mean, if there is, then what are you and I doing talking right now? Shouldn't you and I be building a bunker somewhere in Canada? Right out in the middle of a field, shouldn't you and I be digging into a mountain or something and stockpiling? No, we're not, because there's not going to be a World War III. I mean, look, a World War III ruins it for everybody, not just us, right? If you are a billionaire, right? You're some crazy New World Order Illuminati cabal, right? And you want to go and ruin this planet so you can live underground for the rest of your life? What's the joy in that? You don't get to drive your Ferrari? What's the joy in that?
Yeah, but you got that North Korea dude. He's like really threatening to blow us, blow us up.
But that wouldn't be World War.
China's saying the same thing. They're saying getting ready for war. I mean, this is a dictator saying we're getting ready for war.
Sure.
We're the only one they're going to be fighting, man.
Well, but France, Russia, Spain, United Kingdom, Brazil, I don't care. Pick a country, China. Everybody is always in a defensive posture. Everybody's always prepared. So, and you and I didn't, I've got to head towards a break here. I've got 6 seconds left. You and I didn't live through World War II. But imagine that for a second. Imagine that. Every country on this planet shooting at each other. That was crazy. And nobody wants to go through that again. Nobody wants to go through what happened in Japan. And I just don't, I really
we got
honestly.
nuclear bombs, though. It's different now.
I know.
Nuclear winter, I mean.
That's right.
The radiation that's coming from the Japanese tsunami has poisoned the whole California coast.
That's right.
You know?
Neil, I got to head towards a break. My man, I got to head towards a break. All right? So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will, I'll see you over on Coast to Coast AM.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. This is Fade to Black. This is Thursday night. It is Fader Night. Open lines all night long. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I got to take a break right here, and I'll get back to your phone calls next on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment. including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thursday night, Fader Night, one segment left of open lines, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695 or 818-921-6929. And it's funny, I turned on one of the monitors here for CNN with this bomb threat. And now the headline over on CNN, you just got to love, man. You know, I'm going to turn this off. Kevin Hart steps down for the Oscars, and that will kill any. I just don't like watching the news. Kevin Hart steps down from the Oscars. This is headline news right now on CNN. All right, let's go. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Miami. You're up next on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Are you there?
Hello?
Yes. What?
I'm actually in Melbourne, Florida. My name is Tom.
Okay, but Tom, are you on a boat? What is the noise?
Yeah, I am on a boat, actually. Let me move forward so that it'll be a little clearer.
You're on a boat in Melbourne, Florida right now.
At this very moment, yes.
Wow, that's
Is that better?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It's a little better. I think we can deal with that. What's on your mind tonight, Tom?
Okay. Well, I mean, you're a big name in the paranormal genre, UFO paranormal genre. And one of the things I've noticed, across the board, every race is represented, but I haven't seen any African Americans hosting shows or giving conferences and such as that. And I'm wondering if you've also noticed that.
Yes, I have, of course, and I've commented on this in the past. But there are a few. I mean, Billy Carson is one of the biggest names in ufology right now. And look at, Barry Littleton, just a phenomenal guy and an experiencer and abductions and stuff like that. So, but I agree with you. It seems a little strange when you go to a UFO conference and you will see everybody there represented, right? It's definitely a rainbow coalition, but yeah, there has been. Look at Damon T. Barry. His video series is incredible, but he's singular. And I've asked Damon this very question. I've asked Barry this question. I've asked Billy Carson this very question. So you're absolutely right. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Asians. I mean, Japan alone. Look at them. I mean, they've got. Just about every channel over there has
UFO content.
UFO shows.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And India, big in it. Latin America, you've got Jaime Maussan is covering all of it now.
Right.
But like, name one world presenter from Africa.
Yeah. I asked, and I'll be straight. I asked my producer here, Hilton J. Palm. He's black, and I said, Hilton, if you saw a UFO, I asked him. I said, where's the black segment of the UFO community? And I asked him. I said, so if you saw a UFO, would you talk? He said, man, no, it's part of our culture. We just wouldn't bring it up. We wouldn't even admit it. And he said it's the same thing with like ghosts. we know ghosts are real, you know, but if we see one, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, I've got a friend from Haiti, and I asked him, you know, if a UFO came down in Haiti, what would you do? And he was always cracking on Haiti. He said, well, we'd probably eat them.
right. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny, but
it is.
But I recognize this, you know, and I see it across the board. Look, I don't have. I take so many phone calls throughout the week, and of course I'll be over at Coast to Coast this weekend, and you can imagine how many phone calls that I take over there, and I don't. You know, it's generally a white audience in a general sense. Do I get a huge amount of Asian phone calls or American Indian phone calls or Indian people from India? Do I get these phone calls? I don't. African American, you know, black. I don't. They come in once in a while, but no, I would say in a general sense, you are correct. Yes. I can't explain it.
It's a huge market.
Yeah. I can't.
It's a huge market.
I can't explain it. Look, when I go out and do a night watch with a huge, you know, crowd, you know, 100, 200, 300 people, it's a white audience. It's a white crowd. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I went to a conference over here in...
Speak up.
It was I went to a psychic fair over in Orlando. It was in the middle of a predominantly black area, and it was whites and Hispanics.
Yeah. I don't know. And see, you bring up a really good point. The UFO culture and community that is in South America, Central America, there's no question it is very large. Jaime Maussan is very popular. They have networks in Brazil, and it's covered. And so you would think that there would be a Latino community that is, you know, represented at these big UFO conferences. And, you know, there's a certain amount, but it's not what you would think that it should be. You know, so I don't know. I can't explain it. I really can. It's a very good point, Tom.
Maybe if you had one in Spanish, you would have a greater Hispanic.
Yeah. You might be right there. You might be right. You just might be right. I remember what's his name, Camacho. I'm trying to think of his first name. He's a radio guy. He's the Art Bell of Mexico, and he did a Latino conference here in Los Angeles last year or the year before. I do remember that. I don't know how many people attended. He asked me to go down. And I couldn't. I was on the air that night, and I couldn't do it. But I did want to go and see what was going on. But thank you for the phone call, Tom, and thank you for bringing that up. You're absolutely 100% correct.
Well, have a great night.
You too, Thanks. Tom. Thank you so much, and enjoy your drive on the boat there.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. I could tell he was on a boat. You heard that. I could tell he was on a boat. But he brings up, look, Damon T. Barry, The Knowledge of the Forever Time, episodes 1 through 8. Incredible production, incredible work. Damon T. Barry, voiceover, news guy, worked for Disney, executive of a golden voice. What a throat he has, right? Great video series, well watched, well represented, but he's, you know, and Billy Carson, just tremendous work. But that's really, it kind of stops there. Barry Littleton, who came forward and has been on this show with me a few times and also over on Coast to Coast. But I've asked, you know, I remember asking Barry the same thing. You know, it's I recognize it. I see it. I have eyeballs. I get it. I understand. All right, let's go to Sacramento. I think I know who this is. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Deb.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
Hi. I think I was going to address something else, but I think I have a theory about why a lot of black people don't talk about UFOs. and the ghosts and all of that is because a lot of the black people that I grew up with, I was raised in a Southern Baptist church, and a lot of the black community are religious. And so if you go down that road and you start bringing that stuff up, they judge you, they consider you a backslider, because it goes along with, if you try a Ouija board, you're a backslidden Christian, and there's a lot of judgment and condemnation that comes with it. And that's why they don't speak out.
I'll go with that. I think that has a big part to do with it. Sure.
I really do. I really do. And then Neil was talking about, world, money being distributed evenly and technology replacing our jobs. And they projected just with Amazon alone that like in the next 10 years, 40% of the jobs will be taken by robots. And one of the solutions that's being experimented with right now, and I'm sure you've heard about this, is called universal income, universal basic income. Have you heard about it?
Oh,
or read
yeah,
about
absolutely. I've done a lot of research into it.
Me too. And they're looking at that. They're getting actually really good results with the cities and the places that they're trying this with. And for the last 2 years in a segment of, in Oakland, California, they picked a certain segment of Oakland and residents there who are low income already, and they give them a base income of $2,000 per month for 2 years. And they're monitoring to see what kind of results come out of that. And the results, and they've done it in England, and I'm sure you know it because you've researched it, places all over the world, they've given it to homeless people, and the results have been very positive. And so because the results are being positive, because it's actually costing less money, to do the basic income, they're looking at it as something that may be distributed to everybody, no matter what your income base is or whether you're working or not in the future. That's something they're actually considering because so far the demographics show that it's cheaper to do that.
Well, this is the way that I would do it. And this has been, there's a few countries right now that are doing this. And it would be this. If you establish a poverty line, right, what is low income, right? And it would be different from, here in L.A., it's very expensive. So what is, the minimum wage here in L.A. is just like, it's dumb. It doesn't even make any sense. So nobody can live on a minimum wage in L.A., but of fortune, people somehow manage. But then there's other segments of the country. And so if you establish like this poverty line for your area, whatever it is, and then you go to work, and then whatever that difference is, right, that we would make up the difference. Right? So everybody could at least meet those minimums so that you could have a roof over your head, food, car, insurance, and take care of your kids. So you could have a minimum, level met, whatever that may be. But you have to have a job to get it. Right? Okay, yeah. and that's and I is it socialism? I just think it's being a humanitarian, and it's everybody should have some self-respect and some self-worth, and let them know that they are recognized and that people care about them. And there's a certain amount of that should happen. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. I didn't even tell Rita that this happened. But last week, okay, and this is what I'm talking about. A little bit goes a long way. And I was at a supermarket, and it's about 11 o'clock at night. It was after the show. And I can't, I hate telling, but hopefully me sharing this with everybody will motivate people to do the same thing. All right. I don't deserve a medal or anything like that, but like I said, I didn't even come home and tell Rita that I did this, but I'm in line, and the lady in front of me, she's probably 65, 70 years old, and she buys like $20 worth of groceries or something. And one of the things in her groceries was this wreath. And it was a wreath that was made out of a plant, and it was in a little red planter pot. It's about 1 foot tall, 2 feet tall, and it's this red wreath thing. And the lady rings it up, and she goes, "Wait a minute, how much is that?" And she goes, "It's $13.99 or whatever the number was, $14.99." She goes, "Oh, I thought it was $9.99." And she goes, "Well, do you want it?" She goes, "No." And so the lady put it to the side. And I step up, and I'm ringing up my groceries, and I turn to her as she's walking. I said, hold on for a second. And she goes, "What?" I said, "Do you want that?" And she goes, "No, you can have it." I said, "No, I'm asking you, do you want this?" She goes, "I wanted to buy it for my daughter, but I can't afford it." I said, "Well," I said, "Take it." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Take it." Now, behind me in line, there's like 20 people. They applaud, right? And I was like, wait a minute, stop. It's not a big deal. But I picked it up. I said, "Ring this up." And she rang it up, and I handed it to her. She comes up to me crying, hugs me, and I just wanted to, I was going over to my daughter's house tomorrow, and I just wanted to bring her something, and I couldn't afford, just thank you. You know, can I have a hug? I said, "Of course you can have a hug." And now look, it's a couple of bucks, right? It's not even the point. It's that if everybody, sometimes you just want to be recognized. You want people to know, that you are around and that you exist. And that's my point. Do it once in a while. It's not that big of a deal.
Right. I did the same thing I did the same thing last week. You talked about before, there's a guy who I see regularly at the fast food places, and I was going to get my dinner at Chipotle, and here he is out there with his cart, in the cold, and I stopped. "Hi, how are you tonight?" And I said, "Are you hungry? What would you like?" And I got him dinner, and it's like they're so grateful. It's like, what's so hard about showing a little bit of compassion for people on a daily basis? The opportunities are out there.
Right.
We may be the golden country, but there's homeless people everywhere.
Right.
And I'm so glad the people in line, hopefully everyone that applauded that you did that, hopefully it touched them so that it will carry out with them, and they'll remember that it made them feel good to see you do it, and they'll go do it and spread it along, because we all need to start helping each other. And the humanitarian thing, it's just having compassion.
Yeah. I've done that so many times in line when I'll usually do it by myself. I just don't, and my point, if I see that go down, I remember, this is last year. Again, I didn't tell Rita about this. Was she with me? No, I was by myself. In front of me in line, same supermarket, by the way, right? Same supermarket. In front of me in line was, I think it was like a grandmother and her grandson, because she was older and he was like 8. But they had a ton of cat food and dog, not a ton, but, I don't know, 10, 20 cans of cat food and this, and some kitty litter and some other stuff. And they go, and her credit card, right, isn't going through, or her ATM card, right? Now, the kid is a kid. He's like 8, right? So, and he's looking at his grand. She goes, "Okay, we can't buy this stuff." And I said, "Wait a minute, what?" And she goes, "Oh, man, that's, our dog and our cats, and we came out. I said, I'll take care of it. Let's get it in bags, and you can go." "What?" "Yes. Just seriously, don't trip." And I didn't want her feeling bad in front of this young man that's standing there that is, helping her. So anyway, but that's, just do it, right? Just do it. It's okay. It's okay. Let somebody know, and just seeing their reaction, where nobody does this stuff anymore. They're surprised about it. They're surprised.
I know.
And why are they? Because people just don't do this kind of stuff. So now, but
a lot of people, they go, "Well, you should just go get a job," and people scold you for doing it. It's like, okay, well, when you've walked a mile in their shoes, then you can, you're very fortunate. You need to count your blessings and don't judge them because you don't have their life. So don't preach to me about not sharing with people.
Yeah, I know. That's totally true. But back to the universal basic income. Look, if you've got a gig, if you've got a job, you're working 40 hours a week and you are putting in your time, then, and if you're not meeting what the government says is the minimum of dignity, right? of dignity, of self-worth, then, just kick in the balance. That's all. But you have to have a job. That's all. That's all. No,
Otherwise,
no
if you
free
give
ride.
the same to everybody, then people just stay home and drink beer all day.
Well, so would I.
Or whatever.
So would I. I would. Sit at home, play some video games, a little guitar. Yeah, man, absolutely. So, but that's my thing. And a little goes a long way. And just showing other people around you when you do that, the people that are standing behind you in line. When the guy that behind me goes, hey, he's buying her a wreath, whoa, and he started applauding and everybody else did. And he made a scene of it. But you know what? I'm glad that he did, because hopefully somebody else went, you know what? That's a pretty cool thing to do. That is just, and it's nothing. It's nothing. It was a wreath. But for her, it was everything.
Right, it's everything to her.
Right.
Yeah.
She wanted to go to her daughter's house with a wreath tomorrow, for dinner. Show up at the house and go, Merry Christmas. And she couldn't do that, and she was bummed, And so, it's, anyway.
I know. Well, the Bible, and again, I don't subscribe to everything the Bible says, but I was raised to believe that when you give, we were taught to give in secret. You don't brag about it. You don't tell people about it, because it's not about you. It's about sharing, just like Jesus shared with everybody. And he teaches us to, treat someone the way you would want to be treated. And that's part of the compassion. And if everyone would just do that, this world would be a much better place. Anyway, I better let you go, Jimmy. You probably have other calls. But...
No, I've got to read credits here in a minute. But that's it. Just you know what? Just be an example. That's all. Rita just texted me. She goes, St. James, right? and that's why, you know what? And that's why it's there's no reason to talk about it. But if I motivate somebody out there listening right now, where they're presented with a situation like that, and something like that happens in front of you, just react to it. That's all. It's nothing. It's nothing.
And it's not going to break your own bank. That extra whatever it was, $4, $10 per meal. It's not going to change your life one way or the other. You need to just do it.
Nope. It's not going to change a thing. And you're just going to, first off, you're going to make somebody feel pretty good. That's the first thing. But you want somebody else to see it so that they know that, you know what, the next time that happens, I want to be that guy, right? I want to be that. I want to do that. That's all. All right,
so.
Deb, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you over on Coast.
Okay, absolutely. Take care, Jimmy.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night. Enjoy your weekend. And with that wraps another amazing, fun, totally cool Thursday night, Fader night here on Fade to Black. It is truly my favorite night of the week, and being able to just sit here and chat and hang out with all of you. It's just special, fun, and totally cool. Now, I get to get out of here, shut the bunker down, go and pick up some food and go hang out with my family. We're going to binge watch The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Are you guys watching that? We are. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And I'll brave the wind and the cold and go and hang out with the family, because I'm off tomorrow. I'll see everybody over on Coast. Coast Friday, we're doing, or Saturday, Robert Zubrin. We're going to be doing some Mars. And Philip K. Dick's wife is going to be with me. And we're going to talk about the life and times of Philip K. Dick. And then Sunday night over on Coast, I've got Scott Wolter over there for the full evening on Sunday night. So come and hang out with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that, I am out of here. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I want to thank Teresa Tanaros for coming in tonight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll see you Saturday night over on Coast to Coast AM. Until then, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.